Something I can help you with?
Oh, I was just searching for a pencil, and I found this.
Oh,
Early days?
far out. That's before I learned how to shave.
You were really trucking.
Everybody, welcome to episode 12 of the Cabot Cove Confab podcast. This is Sean.
And this is Steve. And might we add that this is also the first episode of 2022.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
We're in the future now.
Yeah.
We got flying cars. We've got 3D hologram porn. We've got... What else do we have?
We've got... let's see, the future, of course. Betty White died yesterday, or the day before yesterday.
Yeah, oh, well, thanks. Okay, I was trying to think of good things to talk about, but you decided to kind of bring it down.
This is the thing.
Yes.
This is the thing, Steve. Like, on the Facebook, everybody's like, oh, how sad, Betty White died. And, it's sad, that Betty White died. But she was 99 years old. And I've only known two people who've lived longer than 90 years old. And both of them acted like they didn't want to live any longer.
Yeah, no, I had a grandmother that lived just after 100. She passed.
Yeah.
And I remember just talking to her, and she was like, all my friends are gone. All the family that, like her husband, her sisters, they're gone. It's almost... she didn't say she wants to die, but definitely got the impression she was about to say something like that. Like, I'm ready to go. It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is sad, however, is that next month she would have turned 100.
Yeah,
and
January 17th. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were
not next month.
This month, I'm sorry. And they were going to have this big, huge special, live special that they were going to air in theaters through Fathom Events. I don't know if they're still going to do it. I imagine they won't. Maybe it'll be more like a memorial.
She posted on Twitter. I was just looking at this. Now, I think it was probably somebody from her, from marketing or somebody from her PR. But they posted on Twitter, my 100th birthday. I cannot believe it's coming up. And People Magazine is celebrating with me. And so I'm like, oh, that was posted 5 days ago, according to this. Eesh.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. That I'm a little bit sad about. I'm generally not very sad about people who are 99 years old who die because, surprise.
Oh, she had a good life.
Yeah, she had a very good life.
Yeah. No, it's the people who die really young. Those are the ones that you kind of like, ooh, that's very depressing.
Like,
she had a great life, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the young people that I feel a little bit more bad. Like, I remember when Heath Ledger died. The kid, I can't remember what his name is. The Russian kid that played in the Star Trek movie.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He died in some horrible accident, and it was really sad.
His career was just getting ready to start.
Yeah,
too. He was in a Terminator film.
Yeah,
the Star Trek film.
He was in this really good movie called Green Room that I really enjoyed. But yeah, I can't remember his name. Isn't that sad? But
you know who's still with us?
Who?
Yes.
Angela Lansbury.
That's right.
And Dick Van Dyke.
Yes. That man is a vampire. I'm sure of it.
So I love it because...
That's the only explanation I have.
Both of those actors were in musicals that I was in when I was in high school. I played Mame's husband in Auntie Mame, which Angela Lansbury, pioneered that role. She was Auntie Mame. And I played Mr. McAfee. McAfee. Mr. McAfee.
Oh, the
Bye Bye
virus
Birdie.
program guy? Okay.
What?
Nothing.
No. Anyway, he was played by Paul Lynde in the musical and in the movie. I wonder why they picked me to play that role. Anyway, okay.
I don't know anything about it, but I'll...
you know who Paul Lynde is, right?
Oh, Paul Lynde. No, I didn't hear Paul Lynde. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you do seem to have a lot in common with Paul Lynde. You're racist, and I'm kidding.
Yeah, according to Gilbert Gottfried, I've told this joke already on Hollywood Squares. When they would do 2 shows a day, they do 1 show in the morning, and then they'd go to lunch and get hammered. So he'd be like all hammered when they did this. They did this at the Match Game too, and he'd get really drunk at lunch and say, "Oh, that's fucking Jews." One time,
and there we go.
he went to the.
We lost some more viewers tonight.
He went
Thank
to
you,
the
Sean.
dressing room, or the changing room, or the shower, whatever you want to call it, for the Solid Gold Dancers. Remember them? They were
yes.
And he'd go, "Oh my God, it smells like cunt in here, but not that I would know." If you ever want to see a fun thing, I didn't know this exists, but go on YouTube and search for SNL Match Game. A few years ago, they did a parody of the Match Game where they did Charles Nelson Riley, but they're doing him as Paul Lynde because I don't think anybody's really that familiar with Charles Nelson Riley, but it is freaking hilarious. And Shia LaBeouf, is that how you say it? He was guest starring.
But I know you. Yeah.
And he does Doug Hemming. He's pretending it's all magic. Remember Doug Hemming?
No, I don't know that one. But let's get back to tonight's episode.
Okay, fine. You know what? I do have some other pre-show banter, though, Steve.
Yes, let's banter away, Sean.
All right. Okay, so we were watching this show on Hulu called Killing Eve, and then it just kind of got, not that good. And over the holiday, we may or may not have gotten somebody, like a relative's login for information for Disney Plus. Okay, because I'm not.
Okay.
I don't want it. I don't care. I don't need to see all of.
You wanted to see all the Marvel shows, huh?
No, fuck that. No, and I was kind of like, whatever. But there is one thing that I'd be curious to watch on Disney Plus. So we started watching The Mandalorian. And
really?
we are now like the last people in existence that have to see this show. Are you familiar with the show?
You know I am.
You are? Do you have the Disney Plus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Specifically for those shows. Yeah.
But it is like we're 3 episodes in, and it is so good. And I was talking to somebody about it last night. That would be Eric, the other person that I podcast with, and he says, "Yeah, you."
Oh wait, let me take a drink.
Okay, all right. Now, I didn't mention the podcast, but anyway, he said the show. If you watch it and you're a fan of movies, there are certain episodes that are sort of like they're inspired by movies.
Sure,
and they're actually remakes of movies, which I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Because while I'm watching it, I'm actually thinking that this is Clint Eastwood. The main guy is Clint Eastwood from, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But everything when that show first came out, everything in me said, don't watch that fucking thing with the little baby Yoda. That's stupid. People are like, yeah. But, man, it's really good. It's like the best Star Wars shit I've seen since Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. It's I like it. If you have access to, or illegal access to your Disney Plus, there's another show that I haven't started watching, but I've been watching like little snippets on YouTube and trailers and stuff. But I definitely want to get into it. It's called Live in Front of a Studio Audience. And so what it is, they take TV shows from the 80s, like The Facts of Life, Different Strokes, and they have current actors play it. So Kevin Hart plays
Dwayne.
Arnold.
I've seen this. Yeah, this is on Hulu. Yeah, they've done
is it
more
on
of
Hulu?
that?
It's on Disney Plus too, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, and so
I watched the Facts of Life one, and I got about halfway through the Different Strokes one with John Lithgow as Mr. Drummond.
Right?
But
yes.
Somebody here wasn't interested in that, even though. I mean, it that amazed me that I was like, I was watching that, and I was like hypnotized by it. And you're watching, and all of a sudden Snoop Dogg shows up as
he plays one of the characters. Yeah.
You know what they should do with that? They should do the one with the. Remember when they had the bicycle shop guy who was a child molester?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The big guy from WKRP.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The very special episode. Oh, yeah.
That is so awkward to watch, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's on YouTube, and I don't know, I guess a couple of months back, decided to watch it, and it was so uncomfortable.
It is really uncomfortable. It's instructive for kids, to know that this
and pedophiles.
exists.
Yeah, well, it's also instructive of pedophiles. How do you lure young men into your backroom shop and offer ice cream with sprinkles? Oh, God.
Oh, man. I have so many memories of that show, and it's sad because everybody on the show is dead except for the guy who plays Dwayne.
I know, Willis.
Oh, no, Willis. I'm sorry, Willis. You're white.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
I am white, yes. That's correct. What you talking about? No, kidding.
Yeah, there's a joke in Chicago. The Sears Tower, they changed it to the Willis Tower. And so now when everybody says the Willis Tower, you're supposed to say, what you talking about, Willis? See, that's
stupid.
That's a Chicago joke. I'm sorry, everybody.
I don't get it.
Oh, in other news, there was an actress who has been charged with murder. Reese, what's her last name? Reese.
Can I say you pulled this joke on me already when we were playing Dead by Daylight a couple of nights ago?
Okay, could you could have just gone along.
You want me to play? Oh, you want me to play?
You're supposed to say, I'm like Reese, and you're going to say
Reese,
Witherspoon.
it's an actress,
and I said, no, with her knife.
Well,
I just
the
want
only
to say
actress I know
that
is
joke was
Reese
really
Witherspoon.
funny on Christmas when I was drunk. But okay, apparently not now. We are 11 minutes into episode 12 of the Cabot Cove Confab, yet we have not yet talked about the episode that we're going to talk about.
No.
Which is, Steve, tell us all about it.
Frozen Stiff.
Yes.
Now, Ben and Jerry's murder mystery.
It's either that or it's Gateway Computers from the 90s because they had that...
yeah, the cows.
The
yeah.
cow.
I didn't think of that one. That's good.
It's as if they were like, well, where can we send Jessica next? Has she been to Wisconsin? No. Let's send her to Wisconsin. What's in Wisconsin?
All I know is that I would not want Jessica as a friend.
What? Oh, yeah, because you're going to get arrested, for sure.
You're going to get arrested. You're going to be charged for murder, or someone you love or know is going to be murdered. It's just not worth being friends with Jessica.
I think
if I saw her coming, I'd be like, I'm going to be out of town that month. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can't have you stay at my place.
I think that every episode that we've done, someone gets arrested and they're the wrong person. And about most of the time it's Jessica's friend, because there's always Jessica's friend. It's always a thing.
I'm waiting for an episode where it's one of Jessica's friends actually did murder somebody.
I know, right? I want to see that. That must exist. But so this is from season 12. This is the last season of Murder, She Wrote. And did you watch the what do you call it? The pre-credit sequence with the music? They totally changed it. I mean, it's all new footage except for a couple of shots.
Did they? No, I actually skipped it this time.
They
do try to watch it, but I'm like, I've seen it 50 times. I just want to move on.
It's all new. It's all new.
Okay.
And one thing really bothers me about it is that she has a computer now instead of a typewriter.
Right.
And she's using the computer in her kitchen, right? Her kitchen table, almost as if it were a laptop, but it's not a laptop. But we know she has a laptop because we've seen her use one. But
sure.
You don't put
to Alaska.
You don't put it's British Columbia there, Steve. You don't put an actual computer on your kitchen table there's a printer there, and I remember working in an office. There was a printer just like it. It drives me crazy. Anyway, that's fine. Whatever.
Okay.
I just want to see the episodes where these clips are from because I've yet to see.
You never will.
Yeah.
It's like the first in the beginning we were watching. You were wanting to see her. What was it? She was sneaking around with a flashlight.
Yeah.
Got surprised like that. I think you told me that never happens.
Yeah, there's a scene in this one where she's trying to order, it appears to be a Japanese menu in a restaurant, and she can't understand them. Yeah! I'm not joking! I mean, it's only like 3 seconds long.
That is new, okay. Because they have I've seen it with the computer and the printer, but okay. I haven't seen the Japanese restaurant one.
So, yeah, that's new, and then the show was canceled, so, anyway. All right, so Frozen Stiff.
Yeah, it stars, I don't remember last names, I think it's Gary Anderson, maybe. It's played by Dirk Benedict, and then we have Larry, played by Bill, is it Smithrovich, something like that. And I know the actor who played Larry, that's Jessica's friend, by the way, from a show I used to watch. And it was a drama, and I watched it back in the day, so I don't remember what years it was on, but it was called Life Goes On. And he played the father of this family, and they had a son that had Down syndrome. And he had 2 daughters.
Yes!
One was
Yes.
And the mother, who was she? She was a famous Broadway actress, I believe. I know I watched the show mainly because I had a crush on the younger sister. She was my age, but
golly,
I can't remember the characters' names.
I completely forgot about.
I remember
that show.
Corky was the son with Down syndrome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember because the theme was they were all singing the Beatles song "La La 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 La," life goes on, and I think the kid that played Corky got like a couple Emmys or something from that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still alive.
Yeah. So Dirk Benedict, who plays Gary, there's Larry and Gary, and Larry and Gary's Frozen Stuff. It's basically ice cream, but when you say frozen,
I like how they
stuff,
don't call. I like how they don't call it ice cream. It's like, well, that's suspicious.
Yeah, this isn't at all like the movie The Stuff from the 80s.
It reminds me of, there was a YouTube video that came out a couple of years ago on the ice cream from Walmart, specifically their ice cream sandwiches. And what they did is I don't know where this was, but they went outside. It was like an 80-degree day that day. They took the ice cream sandwiches, took them out of the package, unwrapped them, and put them on a patio table. And then they put like Bluebell or something next to it, like a well-known brand next to it. And like after 30 minutes, the Bluebell was melted.
Oh, yeah.
But the Walmart one hadn't melted at all. It was still an ice cream sandwich. But they don't say ice cream on their box. It's not an ice cream sandwich. It's something like frozen treat sandwich or something weird like that. But it just goes to prove that what Walmart sells, it's not ice cream. And they can't call it ice cream.
Stuff.
Yeah, they cannot call it ice cream because it's not ice cream.
Do you know about that movie, The Stuff? That horror movie from the 80s?
I saw The Right Stuff, but I did not see The Stuff.
No, not that. It's about a company that finds this white stuff, and it's like ice cream, but it's more like Cool Whip. And basically, when you eat it, you get addicted, and it takes over your body, and you become like one of the people from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And there's this kid, his parents are addicted to it, and he decides he goes out and he's gonna. I don't know. It's a horrible movie. I really did not care for it at all, even though I was like obsessed with looking at the poster as a kid, and then when as an adult I saw it. And also Bluebell, for those of you who don't live in the great state of Texas, Bluebell is probably the best ice cream in the world, and it's produced here in Texas, and I don't know if it's actually distributed outside of Texas. I imagine it is somewhere, but yeah.
I'm looking at the poster for The Stuff, and that you were fascinated by that, huh?
Yeah,
that is freakish.
It is.
So
really
their jaws
freaky,
would open up.
I don't think their jaws opened up. I think they were just possessed by this stuff, and they would just like. Anyway, I don't know. We got to talk about Frozen Stiff, and I love what they did with the title here. Frozen
before we move on, since you brought up Bluebell, they did come out with a new flavor last month, eggnog flavored. It's fantastic.
Really? Oh my god!
Yeah,
I love eggnog. I haven't had. It's been years since I had eggnog. And somebody on Christmas gave me a bottle of the eggnog with actual bourbon in it. Oh my god!
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know they did that. I've seen pre-mixed, but I always thought it was kind of like a wine product because you see it in grocery stores, which you can't serve hard liquor in grocery store. But interesting. Yeah.
Not in Texas. You can't. You can in Tennessee. I found that out recently, and they also sell liquor on
really?
Sunday. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in Chicago
There
they
was-
sell
there
it
was a-
Walgreens.
I saw there was a news article in my feed this morning saying that this was the driest New Year's in Texas ever because there's a law that prevents you from buying liquor. I'm assuming hard liquor on New Year's Day or something like that.
Really?
So liquor stores were actually closed down this year. That's the first time that's happened probably forever.
And that is why I am drinking wine now instead of bourbon. All right. For those
All
of
right,
you that
back to
don't
the
realize,
episode.
we drink while we do this. I don't know if you know that.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, Frozen Stiff, starring Dirk
So-
Benedict from the A-Team, a show
And
that I
Battlestar.
never watched.
And Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
which I did
Battlestar
watch
Galactica.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
But don't get
original.
too emotionally attached to Dirk, or as he's known.
Oh,
I'm pretty
spoilers.
sure the people that are listening to this have already watched the episode. Okay.
The episode starts off with a young man who we find out later his name is Woody.
Mm-hmm.
He is snooping around in a darkened office, I guess at night, and he witnesses somebody die. Kyle, who we find out is the accountant of this Gary and Larry's Frozen Stuff business.
Yeah.
He sees that he calls Larry, leaves a message. He then says, I forgot, he welcomes somebody into the office and then says, I'm not going to work for you anymore, and then is shot.
All right.
Now
something
Woody
to
doesn't witness who the killer is, but he just hears everything as he's ducking behind a desk.
Right. I just want to press pause on this right quick because this guy's like
Yep.
55, 60 years old, and his name is Kyle. I just
Okay.
want to... Do you ever... No?
What? No?
Well, I don't know. In 1995, was Kyle a name that, somebody that age would have? Nowadays, yeah, because there's like Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks.
I don't know. That's
Okay.
a very unusual
All right.
thing to kind of target in on.
I just...
But,
Because Kyle, growing up, I always thought Kyle was like a young kid who maybe was into sports or something. Or, anyway. Okay. All right. I'll just leave it right
So-
there. We'll continue.
we jumped to Jessica. She is spending the night at a good friend's house. Larry, poor Larry. The bad stuff's about to happen to him because what we discussed earlier.
Okay, well,
But we see Jessica. She's eating ice cream. Oh, no. She's eating frozen stuff, and it's called Tropical Secret. And she's trying to figure out what the ingredient is because Larry is the second half of the Gary and Larry frozen stuff business. And apparently he's wanting to give back to the community, so he is donating to some children literacy program that Jessica is, I don't know, the spokesperson to.
It's
I'm
not
really sure.
very clear. Actually, when you look at it, I have a theory about her relationship with Larry. I think she met him over the internet, because the internet was just starting. Maybe she met him in an AOL chat room. I think they're fuck buddies. I really do. I think they're fuck buddies.
Well, that would explain why she's spending the night there.
'Cause
Instead of going to a hotel, she is.
Because last episode, she was friends with Anna, the widow at the winery, and they knew
Yeah.
each other from Cabot Cove. But there's no explanation in here. And children's illiteracy is kind of a joke. I'm just saying
Why?
that.
Why would you say that?
Well, no. I mean, everybody should be able to read, right? Okay. But
it's a thing.
no,
I mean,
it's okay. You ever see
because you have your
Zoolander?
white privilege doesn't mean that other children have that.
God, you ever see Zoolander? He's going to raise
No,
money for...
it's on my bucket list. I want to see it. I've
It's
never seen
like,
that film.
Oh yeah, I'm going to use this money to fund a charity for children who don't read really good. it's like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of illiterate children because they haven't learned to read yet. What's more worrying?
Because they were born a week ago.
Yeah,
They can't read.
I think adult illiteracy is more important than children's illiteracy. I'm just saying. I don't know.
How would you fight against that if you don't teach them as children?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
It's not like they were literate when they were children and then they forgot how.
And I haven't heard of any illiteracy charities in a long time. And I'm talking about when Barbara Bush was First Lady. That was her thing, was illiterate, working with illiterate people. Because every First Lady has had their thing. Like Nancy Reagan, it was drugs.
Drugs, yeah.
Barbara Bush, it was that. Who was First Lady after Barbara Bush? I don't know.
Oh my
Hillary
God,
Clinton.
Michelle
I don't know.
Obama.
Blackwater. What? I don't know. But
Michelle Obama?
Michelle Obama was nutrition in schools. I don't
That's
know
right.
what Hillary Clinton did. I don't know what her plan was.
Snuffing out lawyers? I'm not really sure.
And then there was Melania Trump, which was like, be better online, which was
ironic.
My
God! Did she
which was
have
ironic.
any charities?
And I don't really know what Jill Biden's plan is. I think she's just busy
That's a good
working.
point. I haven't heard anything about her. Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like this current president is... Maybe because I'm so exhausted with the Trump stuff, all the attacks that were going on, some just, some unjust, but it was just constant, absolutely constant. And I don't care what side of the political party you fall on, but it was too much.
Oh yeah,
and now with Biden, I don't know if it's just because I've now put on blinders and I don't want to hear it anymore.
No,
or
it's
maybe,
true. I mean, unless you
don't hear shit. You hear some stuff like, was it Go Brandon or Let's Go Brandon, whatever that is.
Let's Go Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing I've heard. And it's kind of like, it's weird. Like I said, maybe I've just grown a thicker skin because of the previous president, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't hear as much about
unless
Biden.
you watch Michael
or
Tucker
Camilla
Carlson
Harris.
or Sean Hannity. You don't hear much about him because the rest of the media, because he's just sort of like there, like oh, okay, I'm an older guy. He's too. I'm sorry, I voted for him. He's too old to be president. I really do think he's
Who, Biden?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm going to run again next. I'm like, are you really? Are you
You
be in
may
an
not
iron
be
lung?
alive.
I don't know. You know what they say? The right-wing
get off
pundits.
politics.
They say that he's going to die while he's president, and then Kamala Harris, who has like a 25% approval rating. I don't know
really?
why.
I didn't know
like
that.
how do you determine whether or not the vice president is because what does the vice president do? They're like, okay, we're here in case the president dies. I know they do something. Don't add
As long
us
as you know
with
how
that.
to spell potato, I mean, you should be fine.
We are going to get people turning this off left and right because we're not talking about the
it's
proper
worse.
thing, which is
Okay, so
frozen stuff.
where were we? Okay, so Jessica is in charge of this foundation. Okay, that's as much as we know. But they find out Larry and Jessica find out that the accountant who's in charge of, by the way, of the money that's going to be donated has committed suicide, supposedly. And the only thing that we have, as far as this point, or evidence, is that answering machine. We have the initial call that Kyle made, and then we hear that it's called again, which we do see Woody call that number to see who it is after the murder or whatever happens. And so we hear the clock go off, which is not a typical cuckoo clock. It's a cow clock. It's like moo at 12 o'clock or whatever it is. And we hear squeaking sounds.
Yeah.
Which is Woody running away. Now, Woody doesn't run away until after he hangs up the phone, so I'm not sure how that got caught on the recording, but whatever.
We'll look over it. We'll look over it for this.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
So we're introduced to the sheriff, who is my favorite sheriff name so far in all the episodes we've watched to date. His name is Sheriff Mike Chubb.
Sheriff Chubb. Yeah.
Sheriff Chubb.
So, like, I guess when you're in the 12th season and you've run out of names, and Chubb is a last name. I think there's a security company named Chubb. But, like, do you know, I don't know, in our house, whenever someone, like, bites into a piece of pizza, it's like, Chubb!
Yeah, I've been to your house. I know.
Yeah, you know, Chubb. So
You know how fun it is to eat around you and your partner?
So, yeah.
Chubb! Oh, thanks.
So
having-
Jessica, for some
I'm going
reason...
to be throwing this up later. Okay.
This isn't like New York where she's got some cred, but she's allowed at the scene of the crime for some reason.
Oh, yeah. She befriends Sheriff Chubb pretty quick in this one.
Yeah.
And, they suspect that Kyle committed suicide. But Sheriff Chubb doesn't believe that's the case. He just doesn't seem the type. And they even question his wife, Susan, who's like, what? No, he wasn't any different than he was the day before.
Yeah, and she's very upset by it. And she works at the company too, and
she
apparently,
does?
Yeah, she does.
I wasn't real sure.
And when after your husband dies, you're immediately laid off because that's what.
See,
she
I
does
thought she
later
was
on.
just clearing his desk.
Oh, you might be right.
I didn't think she
You
worked
might be
there.
right there. Because every time I see somebody with a banker's box full of office supplies and a potted plant, I assume they've been laid off or fired. Because that's a trope in movies and shit. Anyway. So yeah, I was interested because this is the first... The murder occurred, just like last episode, Crimson Harvest. We've got a murder that occurred within the first, 3 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
And I have a theory: you can't just let a murder occur. You got to have another murder later on. You got to build the tension.
Right.
And we've got a veritable list of suspects here. We've got Peggy Evans, who is the office manager. And by the way, I have to look shit up on IMDb to know these names because a lot of times you can't catch the names from watching the episode.
Right.
Did you notice that? Do you use IMDb to look this stuff up?
Yeah. No, I pulled up the cast list so I can write down their names. Yeah.
So we've got Peggy Evans. She's the office manager. We've got Victoria, no last name. She's a secretary. We've got, let's see, who else? Well, we mentioned Susan.
You have Jim. He's the marketing guy.
Yes. Now, I want to talk about him. Jim Kenton is played by an actor named George Weiner. And I recognized him right away. I wasn't sure where I saw him in.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that's been in everything.
Yeah. He has literally been in every single TV
I can't
show
think
ever.
of what he's been in specifically, but when you see him, you're like, I've seen him in a lot of things.
He was Colonel Sanders in Spaceballs. That's his first thing
Yes!
that pops
That's
up
right!
in IMDb.
That's right.
And he's the typical sort of nebbish kind of guy, like he probably just plays lawyers or accountants, you know. But in this case, I even wrote down, I think he's the lawyer, but he's the PR guy that used to be a tabloid reporter.
Right, yeah.
So what happens next, Steve?
So we find out that Gary has a meeting with somebody named Ralph Brewer. Now, he works, I don't know if it's for a firm that kind of watches over industry or something like that, but he works for Verity Podcast. And so he has a meeting with Gary, and then Larry decides he's going to join. And what happens during that meeting is Ralph says something to the fact that the milk that you're using in your, I was about to say ice cream, the milk that you're using in your frozen stuff is contaminated or has hormones or something where it's not what's listed on the product, and you have 48 hours to correct it, or we're going to press.
And this was really big in the 90s, and actually it's really big now, and I have a personal story to tell about this. Hormones in cattle or chicken, because they use it to make the chickens get bigger breasts and all that. and that's not a joke. That's really what they do, and for the cows to be bigger and have more meat or produce more milk.
I like the thighs myself.
Yeah, I like the breasts. But this is a thing, and I have a relative who has a child who, at 10 years old, has how do I say this? I'll just she's been having her period, and the doctor said it's probably because of hormones in meat.
Oh, in milk. Oh, yeah.
Or in milk. Yeah.
Yeah. There's we had the same thing.
Okay.
So we with our child, we started buying. There's hormone-free milk that you can buy. It's like triple the price of milk, but that's what we bought to kind of prevent that from happening. So well, we were told that milk will speed up that process.
Yeah, and also how do I say this? I don't know how to, but we saw her over the Christmas vacation, and she has, for a 10-year-old, prominent breasts. Okay. And,
that will cause it. It'll cause it to develop early. Yeah.
And I never really took this whole hormone thing seriously until this happened. Okay, but this is a thing in this episode, and it's a real fucking thing. And you can make whatever choices you want to feed your children, but I would say be careful because you never know in these processed foods what they're eating. So
yeah,
all right. So Ralph Brewer,
yeah,
he's going to expose Larry and Gary's ice cream. All right, I'm sorry, Gary and Larry's frozen stuff for using hormones on their cows because they have their own cows and farms, and apparently someone told him, but it's not really clear. Larry doesn't know about it. Maybe Gary does. I don't know. It's not really specified, but immediately I thought, Ralph, he's going to die. He's going to be the victim. Especially since Ralph has been having an affair with Gary's wife, Helen. Is her name Helen?
Yeah,
no, Carol. Carol.
Yeah, she is a slut.
She is a terrible person. Yeah,
she's a terrible person. Yeah, and by the way, she likes to spend money. I mean, she is the atypical. There's a word for women like that marry into wealth just so they can spend money. But she is bleeding Gary dry.
Yeah,
and it's funny because at the beginning of the episode, we find out Gary says to Larry, because they're going to have to pull their marketing because of if they get. It comes out that they're using hormone milk, that, and Larry, that's Jessica's friend, says, we got to pull it. We can't release this. We're gonna get ruined. And Gary's like, no, we were releasing it because we're up to the hilt. We're broke.
Yeah.
We have to keep moving, or we don't have this money to waste.
Yeah,
and so they are financially spare, and I would suspect. A lot of that's based off Gary's wife because she bought a new red Mercedes convertible, and apparently she bought another vehicle the week before. And I think Gary says, "Well, why did you buy a new car?" And she goes, "Well, the ashtrays were full." So it's kind of like,
yeah, she's sort of a stereotypical type of character, and we've seen this before in Columbo. In that first episode that we watched together,
Mile High
IQ murder
Mile High Club,
yeah, that was basically the murderer's wife was Samantha Egger. I remember she was doing the same thing, but it's noted. And by the way, Woody, who we see in the beginning, we see him sneaking around, look at the computer. It looks like he observes the suicide/murder. It's a murder, but. We see him talking to Jessica at one point, and he's asking...
I didn't understand why. I didn't know why.
Yes!
Was he doing it? Was he like... Did he say, I'm doing an article, and I'm interviewing people? Or maybe he was somebody who was going to do a piece on the the donation to Jessica's foundation? I don't know.
It's not explained. It's not explained. Well, it's mentioned later on that he works in the mailroom, but that's after we find out that he's Larry's
that's right. That's
son.
right. They do mention that.
Yeah, and
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and he's asking Jessica all these questions about Larry, and she's like, "Well, I remember him when he graduated college and all that." Jessica, by the way, finds a picture of Larry at Woodstock with some girl that he hooked up with there, and it turns out that they what's the word I'm looking for? Woody was
A bastard?
no, well, we don't use that word anymore. He was not consummate. Consummated? He was.
Sure.
He was. No. There's another word. He was confirmed. He was. We call that when people have sex and then they make a baby. He was. It starts with a C.
Conceived?
Conceived. Yes. Thank you, Steve. He was conceived. he was.
I feel like we're playing Pyramid. What's the name of that game show? It's in the shape of a circle. It's starts with a C.
He was conceived at Woodstock.
Babies come out of it. Vagina?
Between Larry and some girl, and Jessica's on it because she saw the picture of them together, and he's wearing the same necklace that she wore at Woodstock. By the way, that necklace is of, I don't remember if it's of yin or a yang.
Yeah, it's one of those sides.
It's one of those, and it is actually the masculine version of the yin yang. And the female is the black one. The male is the white one. So she should have been wearing the black one. Yeah, that's something I literally just learned today. Not because I researched for this show, but because I was reading a book about witchcraft, and that's how I found that out. So, yeah, there's no explanation of why he's there at the company. Like, I guess he found out who his dad was, and he decided he was going to go work there, so he's working in the mailroom.
Oh, okay.
And he does the stupidest thing ever.
What's that?
He breaks into his father's house.
That is stupid. Yeah, well, hold on. We're going to get there, but I want to say that we do just find out that that all the money for the foundation has been stolen. Mm-hmm. It has been embezzled, so it's gone. And so that puts Larry kind of in a situation too. And I like in this scene specifically, we do see kind of the gateway cows motif that you were talking about earlier, and one of them has the ass end of the cow sticking out of the wall with udders.
Yes.
Now, I don't have a fetish for that kind of stuff, but I think Larry may have a fetish.
Yeah,
cows.
I mean, it was
guessing.
like, okay, we've run out of things we to do with cows. What can we add? Let's put a cow's ass up there, John. That'll be a really good decoration. It's not. It's not a good decoration.
No.
So
and we get. Oh, Jessica does get to hear the cow clock go off. Mm-hmm. So she's putting. She hasn't put it together just yet, but you can see the gears moving in her mind. Where she's like, "Oh, I've heard that before."
Yeah. What's interesting is that the sheriff thinks it's murder and not suicide, which is not usually the case. Usually, Jessica has to convince the sheriff or whoever the law person is that it was murder, but he's very suspicious about it.
Yeah.
But Woody does something that is exceptionally stupid.
Yes, I agree. It didn't make any sense to me why he would do that.
He sneaks into his father's house in the middle of the night, incidentally, while Jessica's getting ice cream from the refrigerator.
Yeah, so she is in love with this tropical secret flavor. And I guess every night she's been sneaking downstairs to grab more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, has it got like some kind of addictive additive added to this this frozen stuff? Not ice cream, frozen stuff.
Yeah, the frozen stuff.
Every night she's there, you catch her going downstairs, going for another spoonful. That's bizarre.
And also, this is prefaced always with a shot of the farmhouse that she's staying at, which looks like it's in the middle of a cornfield, which reminded me.
I thought it looked like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say it's like Field of Dreams or something, like where
I thought it was the house from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes, that too. Oh, that freaked me out when I was a kid.
Yeah,
That scene,
I know.
yeah, with all the toys. Yeah.
I've got it on Blu-ray. It's freaky.
Yeah.
I love alien movies,
I-
except for one.
And which one is
There's
that?
one, The Fourth Kind.
Oh,
And I think
okay.
you know how I feel about that film. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know and you want to find out how much I hate a film personally, on our last podcast, shit we watch on Netflix, we review The Fourth Kind, and we did not like it.
Well, it was better than some of the other choices that were made.
Well, let's put it this way. To this day, it's still one of the films I remember us reviewing and hating.
Yeah.
I know there were others, but... Okay.
So Woody breaks into his father's house, and like he's got a flashlight, and he's going through papers on the kitchen table.
And he catches Jessica with a big spoon in her mouth. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't do that. But that's why she is downstairs with the carton.
Yeah. And so she turns off the light, and she's like, "Is this what you're looking for?" And it's that picture of his father, Larry, with the girl at Woodstock.
It's interesting to go back to what you kind of suggested earlier. I mean, she is in her nightrobe, and I could just see that her and Larry have finished a night of lovemaking, and she's like,
Yes.
he's passed out from the exhaustive night that they had together. I mean, it must have been intense. And she's like, "Oh, now he's passed out. I'm going to sneak down and get me some more of that delicious tropical sea."
Yeah, this paid off. These fake orgasms. Larry's asleep. He's passed out. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to get me some ice cream. It's kind of like,
Why is she there?
Yeah.
She makes enough money. It's kind of like when Prince Andrew got busted with visiting. Oh, what's his name? The guy who didn't kill himself.
Jeffrey Epstein.
And people were like, "Well, why did you spend the night at Epstein's home?" And he goes, "Oh, well, the hotels were booked." You're the Prince of England.
Yeah. I
You
don't know.
can find a place. You could rent. I think you could rent a house. There are so many options that it makes as much sense as that. Why did she not get a hotel room?
And also, she confronts Woody. She turns on the light, and she's like, "Is this what you're looking for?" And then 2 seconds later, Larry comes down the stairs dressed in a robe, and it's like, was he asleep?
He takes the ball gag out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Are you coming back? Jessica, I thought you were coming back. That was my impression of.
I don't
spinning
know
up the
why
gag.
Woody knew that this picture was in Larry's house. It's so dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
Because Jessica tells him about it.
Why did he break into the house in the first place?
Yeah, he should have said, "Oh, I'd like to see that," or I don't know.
I don't know either. It doesn't make any sense, and the scene serves to tell us that Woody, who witnessed the murder, is actually Larry's son, and now Woody becomes a suspect because as Larry's son, he stands to inherit in the event that
Sure.
stocks and shit, or if Larry dies. Larry doesn't die.
So do you think
Gary's about to die, but Larry isn't dead. So
Do you think the writing staff got kind of got lazy with naming their characters at this point? Because
Yes.
we have Woody. His
We have
name,
Larry.
yeah, but Woody because he was conceived at Woodstock.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're right. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Okay, I've got it right here. When he confronts Larry about it, after
Yeah.
breaking into his home, he calmly explains to him that he's his son, and he shows his birth certificate, and his first name is actually Woodstock, last name Seabrook.
Right.
So his weirdo mother decided to name him Woodstock because that's where he was conceived. And
Weird.
for the father's name, it's Leonard Atkins, and not Larry
So,
Armstrong.
where were you conceived, Sean? Could we start calling you by that?
It would be like Christmas party, whatever. That's where I was conceived.
Christmas party is 75.
That's all I know is that my parents had a Christmas party.
Mistletoe. Oh, we could call you
Mistletoe. Yeah, I'm mistletoe. How about you? Do you know? How many people know this? I mean, like, do you know?
Yeah,
when you
why
were
would your
conceived?
mother tell you that? By the way, I screwed a guy that I never met at Woodstock. I'm going to name you Woody.
But wait, let me ask you this. I know when I was conceived, and it was when my parents had a Christmas party, and they had some, wine or whatever, and then they did the hoop. You know how it happens. And then I was born in August. Do you know how you were conceived?
No, I do not.
You never.
And
asked that question.
quite honestly, I don't want to know.
Okay. All right.
I'm fine with that.
I would love to know. I would.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
not me.
If you want, whatever. So there is this close-up of Woody's birth certificate, and I thought this was a clue. I thought this was going to be a clue, but it wasn't. Back in the day, Larry's name was Leonard Atkins, and then when he got into business, he changed his name to Larry Armstrong.
Right.
And I seriously thought that there was something there that I should look at that would, be a clue. But no, it's
Misdirect.
it's a red herring. There's nothing there.
So, yeah, and I think it's funny, at this point, when Woody is walking around in Larry's kitchen, his sneakers will not shut the F up. They're just squeaking all over the place. And then you see the light bulb go over Jessica's head, and she's like, that's the other sound on the recording. And she realizes Woody was there the night of the murder, or suicide, whatever, of Kyle. And so that she says, you need to go to the sheriff and tell him what you know. We do find out that Woody actually didn't see anything. He just heard a conversation and, only heard what happened. Didn't see it.
Okay. All right, now, Steve, I want to ask you
John.
this. At this point in the
Yes.
story, who do you think killed Kyle?
I was thinking Carol could be a very good suspect, though I thought she was a little too evil for it to. It was so obvious that she would be it. I did think also that it could be Gary. He seemed particularly like he would gain a lot if he could get Larry. It sounds like he was trying to move the company forward, and Larry's and his morals was holding them back because Gary was more of the business person. And Larry was more of kind of the front man, if you will, of the company, the face of the company.
Like in Murder by the Book from Columbo.
Mm-hmm. And who else was I thinking?
I was thinking
maybe Woody. Well, no, it couldn't have been Woody. So yeah, I guess those are probably my two main suspects at this point.
At this point, my main suspect was what's his name, Jim.
Okay,
because his
PR guy.
Yeah, his character didn't seem to have any kind of function, and we've seen that in these where, there's just this side character who doesn't really do anything, and then they turn out to be the murderer. We saw that one with Northern Explosion when it turns out to be, what's her name? Maria
the
or
hotel
Marie.
owner.
Yeah, and that came out. So I was, my antenna were up, and I'm like, okay, it's got to be him. It's got to be him. It's got to be him. And I actually, okay, so there's another murder. And it's Gary.
Yeah.
They find Gary. He's frozen stiff. Ha ha! Do you get it? They called the episode Frozen Stiff because he's a frozen stiff. Yeah, he's in the refrigerator, walk-in fridge over there at the company. He's frozen stiff.
And apparently the Stanley Hotel ghost did not help him.
Yeah.
For our viewers, that's a reference to The Shining.
Yeah.
Where Jack was let out
Love that movie.
mysteriously out of the freezer.
Love that movie. Still want to see that movie in the theater.
Yeah, I've never seen it in the theater.
Yeah,
That
I'd
would be
love
good.
to see that movie in the theater. I've got to get it on 4K. Is it available on 4K?
I don't know.
That was a movie that, like, every time for a while there at night, when Tom would go to bed, I'd watch a movie, and it would be The Shining or, I don't know, something else. But I was obsessed with that movie in my old age for a while because I think it's just a masterfully crafted horror movie.
Oh, and it's visually stunning. I mean,
Yeah, it's absolutely...
I found out later that Kubrick was, everything had to be perfect, but like the carpet and the...
Yeah.
We stayed, I want to say you and I stayed at a hotel that used the same carpet. Was it at something like Doctor Who Con or something?
I am assuming it's a Doctor Who con and not anything else, Steve. But
Yes. But no, I seem to recall we were both commenting it's the same carpet from The Shining, which was cool. It's a neat carpet, too. I mean, even though it's very retro 60s, I would love to have that like in my house.
yeah.
Just because it's just fascinating. It's one of those things you can look at for hours, and it's because it kind of like intertwines on itself. It's kind of like one of those images that it's like a circle that loops in on itself.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
You can
Describe that
buy sweaters, scarves, whatever with that image on it. But it's symbolic of the movie itself. I mean, every time I watch that movie, I'm not terrified. I'm a little bit creeped out, but it's just hypnotic. That whole movie. Just watching that little boy, do his big. It's not a big wheel. It's something else.
Red rum.
Yeah.
Red rum. Oh my
And
god.
of course, that movie allegedly destroyed Shelley Duvall's
Shelley
life.
Duvall. Oh, poor lady. Oh.
I have a Facebook friend that is friends with her, and I'm happy to say she's doing quite well in Blanco. She just had her booster shot, and he had lunch with her. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
She seems like she'd be a nice person. Yeah. So let's get back to Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, because we haven't done enough, getting off the topic shit.
So we find out that Gary's wife has a secret date with Ralph. They have a romantic picnic, and it's this is when it really gets kind of suspicious for them because like what is going on here? So now we've got infidelity going on.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, so Ralph obviously he seems like a do-gooder, right? He's watching out for the public. What do you call people who do that?
I don't know. He's a advocate for the public.
Advocate, right? Yeah, public advocate. And then of course, Carol, she's bad person.
Oh fuck.
But they're doing infidelity, and it's like, okay, this is adding another layer. This, maybe Ralph could be.
I just want to point out though that we see them at a picnic. Like, this is the thing. Have you ever had a picnic? Like a romantic picnic
No.
where you bring out the blanket and the basket and the wine and all that shit. They do that in this. Like they're by a river. There's swans in the river. They've got the perfect picnic basket. There's a wine bottle. That doesn't happen in real life. I've been to France. I haven't seen it in France. Like, what's the deal? Stop. Movie, TV shows. They were always, picnics.
It's not very realistic, no. And I mean, seriously, the most unrealistic thing is she was going to sleep with Ralph instead of Dirk Benedict. Come on,
No,
that ain't happening.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
She's like hot, and he's not hot. He's
he's
Dirk Benedict is much better look, but maybe he was kind of an asshole too. So I don't know. I don't get it. Whatever. I'll move over it. We're getting there. So there's this lady.
We also find out about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
We do see a scene back at the Gateway office. Victoria shows Jessica and Woody this overly complex computer system. I mean, when I say overly complex, it takes up a wall, right? And what does this thing do, Sean? Does it calculate, some sophisticated number? Does it maintain special records? No, it just monitors the temperature. All it does.
Which we all have in our homes. I'm assuming
like a
even
little
in
box.
1995, it's called a
Right.
thermostat.
Right.
But apparently, you need a supercomputer if you're working with ice cream.
No, it's not ice cream. It's frozen stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, frozen stuff. Because apparently the term ice cream is trademarked. And
Yes. Yes, I don't know. That's so. Why wouldn't you use ice cream?
I don't,
They used it in Columbo in the what was that one? But the football player got hit over the head with the ice cube. What was the name of that one?
the most crucial game
Most
with
yes,
Robert
most crucial
Culp.
game.
There's the
Yes.
Dingling where he disguises himself as a Dingling ice cream man.
Yeah, so they could use ice cream,
Yeah.
but not for this one.
And by the way, you can just clack away a couple things into the computer and find out that Kyle, the accountant, was in Milwaukee.
Yes,
The
Not
day
in
before he was
San
killed.
Francisco or wherever.
Yeah. Just oh god.
And so it comes to pass that Kyle had a lot of dark secrets.
Yeah.
By the way.
And Jessica's like, while you're in there, could you look up the recipe for the mango whatever thing it is and whatever.
Yeah,
that comes
Jessica's
up
really into bending the rules this episode. Like doing that. We'll discuss the others when we get to them. But we do find out that Kyle does have a dark past. Apparently, he was arrested for embezzlements.
Yeah.
In the 60s or something, or 70s.
Yeah.
And he was, I guess because he worked with the court in convicting somebody else, they gave him a light sentence. It was his wife and her boyfriend, and we come to find the past that what's the wife's name in this again?
Susan.
Susan's like, oh, he was married, and the Sheriff Chubb's like, he still was when he married you. He's a bigamist. It's kind of like just the look of her face, like, okay, so he is an embezzler. I was not his first wife, but his second current wife, and I mean, the guy had a history. I wouldn't have realized Kyle was like that just by looking at him. That's for sure.
Well, this is the thing too. This conversation is held in the sheriff's office with Jessica there, and that was when I was like, "It's her." And I texted you because I had a little bit to drink during the day, and I was like really into this. And I said, "It's Susan." And she killed Kyle. She killed her husband, and then she killed Gary to cover that up because Gary found out about it. But in our story, as we're telling it, Gary's not dead yet.
Right, and this is also when you start to piece together with Jack, because Jack was he worked for a tabloid. And so you kind of see elements where maybe he did find something out because Kyle had such a checkered past. And he was apparently hired, because we even see a scene where Gary goes to Jack and says, well, what did you find out? So we know that Jack is digging around for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think it was Jack at first, and then I changed it to Susan. But...
oh, really? You went straight to Susan? I didn't pick up on her until the camera focused in on her hand during the funeral. So
I did not notice that.
Oh, really? So we go to the funeral, Kyle's funeral, and some more suspicion is being thrown around. Brand new suspicion, reaffirming suspicion, maybe. But we find out that Larry is late because he had a flat tire, quote unquote flat tire, so he missed most of it. And we find out Gary's not around. And then
no, Gary. Oh yeah, that's right. It's Gary's.
Gary's not around.
No, it's Kyle's funeral.
I'm
sorry.
And that's when Jessica looks up from the casket and sees Susan, and she's crying into her tissue. But if you look on the bottom of her hand, she's got a red burn mark on that hand. So not as smart as in Crimson Harvest, where the lawyer kept his hand in his pocket. She had it out in the open, and Jessica noticed that. So here's where I was starting to wonder, well, could it be Larry? Because he did have a criminal past.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it wasn't murder, it was something else. So yeah, it's now things are starting to really fly. I'm not really sure who I should focus in on, but it's Susan maybe, but I couldn't understand why she would kill her husband, or maybe she found out. I guess you could say maybe she did find out about his infidelity.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, that she killed her husband because he was a bigamist. Because the way that she was acting the whole time, I couldn't, I felt like she was overacting, and I felt like the actress was doing that on purpose. But anyway, it's not quite that. But we'll go ahead.
Yeah. So we go back to the factory, and Peggy, the secretary, notices there's blood on the floor, and she follows it, and we find Gary. Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Gary's body has been frozen, and he's dead. The only clue that we have is his time of death, which is 9:30, because the crystal on his watch has been broken, which I never understood. Does crystal break that easily when you fall?
No.
I know I used to wear watches back in the 80s and 90s. I don't anymore because of cell phones, but I don't remember them being that fragile.
No, watches are only fragile in murder mysteries or in mystery shows. If you fall down because someone shot you, for instance, and your wrist falls on the ground, that thing's not going to break. That's just So instantly, they find the body in the
Freezer.
in the fridge. There's blood outside the fridge. And we have a crushed crystal from a watch. So this is the thing, and he died at exactly 9:30, ladies and
during the
gentlemen.
funeral. The funeral was at 9:30 too.
Yeah, so obviously this is somebody that was at the funeral that would try to give them an alibi, which we have seen a million times before in different stories, even in Columbo. So. Where do we take it from here?
Well, Carol, now that Gary's gone, she is taking over. Mm-hmm. She's obviously got the business sense of a snake.
Yeah.
she goes to Larry and she goes, now that Gary's gone, I'm taking over, and I've already got members of the board. They're going to vote me in as CEO. And then more bad news for old Larry is that the Sheriff Chubbs comes in and goes, "We found the gun, the weapon that was used, and it was in your truck, Larry." And so they arrest him.
Did they say that it was registered to him, or
no? They found it. No, they found it in his glove compartment.
I'm not a doctor of jurisprudence about criminal procedure, but I don't know if that's. How do they find the gun? They can't search his car without a warrant. But you got to do it every episode. Somebody's innocent has to be arrested.
and you wouldn't think. Okay, the first thing I would suspect, I would not personally carry a murder weapon with me. I've watched enough Columbo episodes. I know what I would do with a murder weapon. One of them, though, is not to put it in my glove compartment. That's the worst place to conceal the weapon you used to kill somebody.
Right.
So no, I would think, it's been placed, right?
You put it over the ceiling of the elevator where you work,
right? Or in the gutter, or you put it in the dumpster with clothing that you've stolen from a prop shop. You rip it up and then burn it. What else? Oh, you hide it in a fake tree. Where else can you put it?
Yeah.
You bury it in the moss. You can... I was about to say hide it under a fountain, but I think that was a body. That was a body.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that every Columbo murderer is smarter than most of the Murder, She Wrote murderers.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I do have that theory because... Although I'd love to see... Could you imagine like Columbo except it's Jessica? That would be fun to see. No, it wouldn't. No, we have to keep it like it is. Never mind. I went there and I came back.
Yeah. So we do eventually find out that Woody is indeed Larry's son. They did a blood test.
Yeah.
And, Larry, I think Larry confronts Carol as well, that he found out she has been spending company funds on her own thing, like the cars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
So, hold on, I'm going to take a drink.
Okay. I didn't mention any podcasts that I've been on lately. Okay.
So there's this scene with Jessica and the sheriff and Susan. And that's where I was convinced it was Susan. She was just too nice. It's like, why is she here? We're just having her here, to be a extra. But they figure out who killed Kyle. And it's Jim.
What?
Yeah.
No. Cal committed suicide.
No, he didn't. Jim killed him.
Yeah, no. He committed suicide. Jim was there, and he basically was saying, "I'm not." And Kyle said, "I'm not working for you anymore," and then shot himself.
But we saw somebody.
Get out of the mess he's got. No. Watch it again. He committed suicide. So the first murder was indeed a suicide.
I'm gonna have to disagree with your police work there. I think.
I think you need to watch it. I'm telling you, he committed suicide, and Jack was there, and he was talking to Jack at the time, yes, and that's when he shot himself.
But Kyle said something like, "I'm not going to work for you anymore," or something like that.
Yeah, because Jack was blackmailing him.
I don't know. I don't. I have to see this again. Hold on. I don't.
Well,
no,
not now.
No, I think that Jack killed him.
No, he didn't.
Jack killed him because he found out
Kyle committed suicide.
No.
Yes,
we saw him get shot at the beginning.
Yeah,
of the show.
Jack witnessed him commit suicide.
That's what Jack said.
Yeah, because they came to him. They said, "Look, we've got all this evidence. Kyle had this this floppy disk. It had all his records. He maintained and everything he did, and which was a bluff, by the way. That's one of Jessica's little tricks. She lied about that there being evidence when there wasn't, and that's when Jack came clean. He's like, "No, I was there. He committed suicide, and he did it because I was blackmailing him for his embezzlement. Because I caught him, and I was blackmailing him, and he was going to give me the money. The money was supposed to go to me, and because the point was, well, why didn't you leave?" And he goes, "Because I've been trying to figure out where he put the money." That's the whole reason he was still hanging around. He was trying to find out what what Kyle did with the cash.
All right,
he couldn't find it.
I think you're
right. And it was because he gave it to his wife in a briefcase.
All right, I think you're right.
I
know you're right. You're right. That's correct. Because I'm rewatching the scene right now. We don't see Kyle either shooting himself or getting shot by somebody else. There's just a gunshot and he's dead. I totally thought that Jim murdered him once they cornered him. This is the problem, though. This is the problem. How did anybody know that Jim was there when Kyle shot himself?
Because he admitted to it. Because of the fake evidence that Jessica said with the floppy disk.
Well, that's right, but they confronted him with this evidence. There was nothing to make them think that it would have been him. So they had to trick him into confessing that he saw Kyle shoot himself. How did they know to go to him?
Because they realized a lot of the stuff was the information could be blackmail, and who else would have all that information except for Jim, the tabloid guy? And that's why Jessica assumed, and then they played that trick on him. Hey, we've got the evidence, and because I think Jim's like, "You have nothing." He goes, "Oh yes, we do. We got this floppy disk. It has all the information right here," and that's when he confessed.
Okay, I'm going to go with it. I think you're right. I'm going to go with it. That's cool.
But this is the scene where Sheriff Chubbs comments, "Man, for an ice cream place, it sure is hot." And that gives Jessica the final clue or the final answer that she needs. And they go to one of the girls in the office that works in the office, and they ask them to check the records of the thermostat on that big mainframe computer that they have, because that will give them the time when the door was open for the body to be drug into.
It's very good. That's a great clue.
Yeah, when the heat would have gone, when it spiked up all of a sudden. Yeah. So that's when they figure out who it was.
How do they narrow? Basically, it's Susan. But how do they narrow down that it's Susan?
Because I guess that would be the only other place the money would go. Who else would have the money? If Jim doesn't have it, the only other person would be Susan. She's the only one that would have gotten it from Kyle.
But Jim could have been in cahoots with anybody else.
That's true.
Not liking this.
Well, no. You forgot the burn mark or the burn on Susan's hand.
Yeah, which was
from the freezer burn. Yeah, it was from a freezer burn on the pipes. And they if you remember, Sheriff Chubbs found some frozen tissue on one of the pipes inside the freezer, which would, DNA, which I don't believe that kind of DNA testing existed back then, but would lead to Susan.
I don't even think checking frozen pipes for skin would be a thing.
Right. Well, she did notice the freezer burn, though, and she knew it was a freezer burn at the funeral.
Yeah.
So.
How did she know it was a freezer burn?
I don't know.
I don't know that. She could have burned herself on the stove, like she said.
Well, she said that. Yeah, she said, no, I did that when I was pouring tea or some shit like that. And she's like, no, that's not a heat burn. That's a freezer burn. How you can tell, I don't know. I don't know how you would know that.
All right.
You sound so disappointed.
Well, it's like I actually enjoyed watching this and like seeing the clues unfold and everything, and trying to guess who it was. And I texted you who I thought it was. I thought it was Jim that actually literally killed Kyle, but it turns out it was a suicide, and I think you're right about that. But the whatever, I'm going to save it for my official review. Steve,
okay.
Are you ready? Do you have anything to say before you say?
No, we have our final scene. So at the very beginning, Jessica's tasting the tropical secret. I think that's the name of it. That's a weird name for a flavor.
Yeah.
And she bets Larry $1 that I'll bet I'll figure out what's the secret ingredients. And of course, Jessica, in her sneaky ways, I'm telling you, she's sneaky in this whole episode. She has Sheriff Chubbs have the lab guys analyze it and gets the ingredients list from that, and so she wins her $1. Now, I think it's interesting. This is all revealed at like an ice cream party or a parlor, and it's funny because I think it's Alex Brady's ice cream parlor from Murder, Smoke, and Shadows.
Oh my God! I thought the same thing.
It looks just like it.
It looks just like it. It's not it, but it looks just like it.
It isn't?
Yes. Huh. His was more spacious. I think that the
bar I thought the bar was the same, but the room it was in was different.
The bar could be the same. The bar could be the same, but that set from Columbo was more spacious, whereas in this from Murder, She Wrote, I think it was a smaller set. But my God, yes.
I told you earlier I was watching Columbo. I started watching that particular episode just so I could see if it was the same or not.
Oh, I hate him so much. Not Columbo, but Alex Brady.
Alex Brady. Yeah, he was a little turd munchkin.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, you ready for the review?
Yeah, let's do the review.
Okay, so I picked a number. Do you want to guess, or do you just want me to go with it?
Just go with it. I don't know.
All right, so at the funeral, for those that have a keen eye or a quick pause button, you would have seen that the son Woody and is it Peggy are having, or is it Victoria? I can't remember. Are talking about getting coffee together, and they pass by a tombstone, and the tombstone's for a Sue L. Kaiser that died May 22nd, 1942. So out of 1,942, how would you rate tonight's episode, Sean?
Wait, 1,942?
Yeah, 1942.
All right. You want me to go to first?
Yeah.
All right. 727, because as we've already discussed, this actually is a story that would be best developed, best told by 2 episodes. This is a hour and a half story that was squashed into 45 minutes. There's a lot going on in this episode. Not to mention, we didn't even talk about Woody's little dating. What's her name, Victoria, which doesn't do anything in the plot.
No, well, it's like the relationship between Peggy and the lawyer guy. Can't think of his name right now. Who was that?
Anna and the lawyer guy in the last episode that we watched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Ralph Brewer and Larry, Gary's wife.
Yeah,
like that
Carol.
went nowhere.
Yeah, that went
absolutely
nowhere. And I kind of think like it's kind of okay because you need to have red herrings in a story, but I don't feel that this was told well. For instance, we have Woody breaking into his father's house to find a picture that he doesn't know exists. That's like 5 minutes of screen time that's just pure fluff. Yeah. I don't understand, when Jessica says that Susan is the murderer, and Susan explains that... did we mention that Susan was the murderer, by the way?
Yes.
When Susan explains that, oh yeah, I knew that my husband embezzled the money, and when Gary confronted me, I shot him, blah, 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 and I put him in the thing. I think that the Broken Watch is just one of the worst red herrings in whodunit history. Like every time someone's killed and there's a broken watch, you have to look at that broken watch and say that's a clue right there. Even though I thought it was Susan up to the point when we saw her in the sheriff's office, but there's a lot of stuff here that Jessica just doesn't go on evidence. Like she doesn't say, the burn on Susan's hand. Come on, really? Oh, it's a frost burn from being in the freezer and touching the pipes. I think that's a little bit tenuous. So that's what I don't like about this episode. And I missed the frost burn, by the way, when they first showed it. When she was, dabbing her eyes at her husband's funeral. I didn't notice that at all. And that's okay, but I just... if you see that, oh my gosh, it's a frost burn, you're the murderer. I don't like that. So that's why I give the rating I did. That I did not... I enjoyed this episode, but I didn't really think it was written in the Grand Master of Mystery, And actually, I'm impressed that I automatically assumed that episodes in season 12 would be shitty. Like, okay, we gotta cancel this show now. Maybe it just got low ratings, but it's still a good mystery. It really is. It's still good whodunit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm curious why they canceled it. I think it was just because of low ratings. And all the people that enjoyed it from season 1 died. And they had to... take it off the air. So
I want to say in one of the YouTube videos, Pushing Up Roses, I think she mentions Friends kind of kicked it off the air.
Friends? Really?
The TV show, yeah.
Okay.
I think she said something to that effect. I got that impression from something like that. So I agree with a lot what you're saying. However, I really enjoyed all the misdirection because I really was like all over the place trying to figure out who the killer was, and it turns out it was suicide. But then who killed Gary? And I had no idea, and I really did not suspect Susan like you did. You seemed to have picked up on her pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
I did not until at the funeral where we saw a burn on her hand. But then again, there were so many things that were being thrown out in that same scene, like with Larry showing up late, and this.
Yeah.
It made you wonder, like, about Woody, and what's his deal? Was he looking for money? Because obviously, if Gary was dead, then that would put the company under Larry, and he could profit that way. There was just so many people that I wasn't really sure, and so I was surprised because Susan was such a meek, just a very shy person.
That's
I
why
just couldn't see. Huh? That's why you.
That's why I
suspected
thought
her?
it was her. Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I'm not going to rate it as low as you did. Out of 1942, I'm going to give it a 1933.
Okay.
Okay, I enjoyed it. I would watch this again.
No, I'm just going to say that we have watched 12 episodes of Murder, She Wrote from season 1 through season 12, and really, there's only been one that we both didn't like. So I'm thinking this is a quality show. I don't know, but just
Which
putting
one
that out.
did we universally not like?
It was Incident at the Psycho one. Incident at Lot 7.
Yeah, Incident Lot 7.
Yeah.
Or in Lot 7.
That
yeah,
one
we
was-
did.
that
Yeah,
one-
we
did
rated
not
that
like
one
that
pretty low. Literally less than half of the score. Okay.
All right. So, Steve, I had my cats set up the Wheel of Fortune ahead of time. So, if you'd like to...
I didn't know you could train cats.
well, I explained this to you last time because of treats. I train them with treats. They're watching TV right now, but I closed the door so
What?
while
What are
we're
they
doing
watching?
this. What?
What kind of shows do cats watch?
YouTube. They love YouTube. They love
okay.
other cats on YouTube.
That's funny.
That's kind of sort of not a lie, but whatever.
Now, I've got a dog that, the one that everybody gets annoyed with. She is the only dog or pet I've ever owned that watches TV. My other dogs do not. They could care less. I don't even think they comprehend what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are these, hairless monkeys staring at the wall
Yeah.
and not playing with me? That's the impression I get. But with this dog, she will watch it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll put on videos that are channels dedicated for pets. And there's this one with a squirrel. Oh my god, it drives her crazy. I mean, she really enjoys watching the squirrel run around. And it's funny because when the squirrel jumps off when it jumps away from the camera, so it looks like it jumps off screen, she's following. Where'd he go? It's hilarious. It's adorable.
Yeah, we have a cat who watches the TV when there's cats on TV. And when you there's many YouTube videos that go on for 10 hours. YouTube videos for cats, they'll all watch it. It's like, you guys, this is like having kids and putting on a Disney movie, and they just watch the TV. Anyway, all right.
So the cats brought in the wheel, huh?
What?
The cats. Your cats.
The cats?
These-
What?
The cats brought in the wheel. The
Oh, the
spinning
cats
wheel.
brought in the hold. Okay, I was just buying time because I didn't know where my phone was. Okay.
What? You ruined the illusion. God.
No, because
I was really hoping
I need my phone.
that cats
for
were
this next
you had
bit.
little harnesses on them, and you had one cat with a whip behind them going meow, whoosh, meow.
Yeah, it's like Ben-Hur when they're
In her of cats.
Dude, bring in the wheel. No, I actually had them do that before this started because sometimes, they don't listen when it's late at night.
And they leave surprises for you on your pillow. Yeah.
It's never happened. All right, Steve. You are going... Hold on.
I'm going
Say
where?
something funny for the people. Okay. So, we're going to go back to season 1.
Yay! I'm looking forward to this, actually.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so, Steve, spin the wheel.
I'm spinning the wheel now. Didn't spin it that hard.
Okay, we are going to watch
Uh-huh.
Broadway Malady. Not melody, but malady.
Melody. Huh.
Okay. And if you want to know what that's about, I'll tell you right now. There's murder lurking in the wings for a popular Broadway legend. And her daughter, period, I guess, co-starring Lorna Luft and comedy legend Milton Berle. Oh, it's Milton Berle's in it! Holy shit, I'm so excited! Milton Berle!
Oh, awesome.
You know what they say about him?
No. What?
Well, Milton Berle, according to the Gilbert Godfrey podcast, and this was where I heard of him, was very well endowed. And
Okay.
he was a
Jeez.
comedian, and I'm assuming he would get drunk and he would show his endowedness to everybody who asked. So,
Like the actor who played Captain Jack. Okay.
okay. Yeah, I don't know about him, but Milton Berle, yeah. So we have that to look forward to. Broadway Malady. See, this is this is like, okay, we're going to have Jessica, solve a mystery on Broadway, which isn't in Cabot Cove.
It is int or is?
I'm assuming if it's Broadway, it's in New York.
Oh, good point. Well, it could be off. Well, way, way, way off Broadway. But,
I think if you just say Broadway and with a capital B is Broadway. I don't know. Just
Right.
saying. Broadway Maladies. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to season 1. And by the way, people, if you've been listening to this and enjoying this, and I know that a lot of you have, leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts app. 18 of you have done so.
on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
Or we don't have Rotten. We're not a movie. We don't have Rotten Tomatoes. But please do so. We'd appreciate it, and we'll read it on the podcast if you leave it. And I am. Oh my God, Steve! I am so toasted right now. Steve, say good night.
Good night, and keep on trucking.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Cabot Cove Confab. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a favorable review on Apple Podcasts. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Cabot Cove Confab or email us at cabotcoveconfab@gmail.com.